And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matt Funicello in for Dave Goss on this Christmas edition of Connecting Right Radio. Welcome.
Absolutely. Cody, bravo on that song.
That was beautiful. I like Don Henley.
Music.
It was really good.
I'm glad you guys liked it. Honestly, I've never heard it before.
this message.
So.
Yeah, it was good.
You've never heard Don Henley before?
Never this specific song, at least without
all
the title.
right. Okay, I'll take it. All right.
Well, thank you, guys. We have in studio tonight William Bill Reynolds, a Vietnam veteran, local Santa Clarita resident who is on the committee for Memorial Day celebrations in the city, correct? Vietnam Veterans Day celebrations. And for the last 2.5 years, you've been spearheading the Fallen Warriors Monument in Veterans Historical Plaza. Did I get that correct?
Dang, you're good. On it!
What else do you do on the side there? It seems like you're doing everything in the city.
Well, for some years, I've been very involved in SCV's Veteran Memorial Committee. We put on the Memorial Day services every year. It's been a real honor to be on that for the last 5-6 years.
Wow.
I've been helping the city with the Veterans Day ceremonies. I've been on their committee for some time as well. It's a real honor to work with on those committees. And then about 2.5 years ago or so, I went to City Hall and recommended that the city install a Fallen Warriors Monument at our Veterans Historical Plaza, which would honor our 49 fallen warriors from Santa Clarita Valley who have perished since World War II to the present. And between that and writing veteran stories, also I'm Vietnam veteran liaison for the Greatest Generations Foundation, a foundation that was created by a fellow named Timothy Davis, who actually lives in Denver. He's been taking World War II veterans back to their war zones in the South Pacific and to Europe for the last 15 years. He's taken maybe 5,000 World War II.
Is that the Angels flight?
No, this is a separate thing.
Okay.
This is the Greatest Generations Foundation. It's a major charity that is well funded. In early last year, this fellow Timothy Davis saw the documentary about my combat unit in Vietnam, Brothers in War, a Nat Geo documentary. And he contacted me and introduced himself, and since that time we've become very good friends. In fact, he recruited me to be liaison for the foundation. So I've assisted him on, I don't know, maybe 5 various programs back to Vietnam, even went back to Pearl Harbor a year ago for the 75th commemoration of Pearl.
That's awesome.
Assisting 24 Pearl Harbor survivors.
That's awesome.
It's being associated to this foundation it's a blessing. I've assisted in a number of programs back with guys that I served with in combat. For example, we visited what we call our June 19th battleground in the Mekong Delta just this past June. Timothy asked me to recruit 20 guys. 21 of us went back from my old unit, and we had a ceremony where we fought that day. Included in our ceremony were 2 former VC who fought against us.
Oh, wow. How was that? How did that, going back to, your battlegrounds where you fought and literally getting to meet your former enemy? I mean,
when I was there in April of 2016, visiting the site, we were 4 of us who were seen in that documentary made the inaugural program with the foundation, and we met a former VC there, and our tour guide asked him why was he all scarred up, and he explained that he had been fighting against us on the June 19th battle and had been hit by American shrapnel. At that point, I took off my baseball cap, peeled off my Purple Heart pin, and presented it to him.
Wow!
And he was amazed.
Yeah.
This last ceremony we had this past June, it was all about brotherhood and healing. This was an amazing ceremony. We had a Christian pastor who served in our unit give the invocation, and he also spoke about brotherhood and healing. And no sooner did he finish than this former VC, a captain with the 5th Nabe Battalion, he wanted to speak. We didn't know he was going to speak, but he stood up and he started talking, and our interpreter was telling us what he was saying, and it was virtually the same thing that our Christian pastor was saying about being, forgiving past sins, and it's about brotherhood and the healing. We all did our job for our respective governments, countries, and then we had one of our guys was a Native American, a Paiute, and he had his Native American kind of appearance with his feathers and so forth, and he did a ritual that he's been doing for years called the crying of taps, and it was so Native American in style with kind of crying and whining and moaning, and he was down on one knee and he had his shakers, and the Vietnamese villagers who were standing around watching this ceremony were stunned at what they were seeing. They'd never seen anything like that before. And then we finished it off with a incense ritual, a Buddhist incense ritual. So you had Christianity, Buddhism, and Native American Paiute spiritualities, boom, crammed together right there in that one thing. It was amazing. Yeah. So the foundation does fantastic work for veterans, and I'm so proud to be part of that organization.
That's amazing. So let's talk about the monument. How did this kind of all come to fruition? How did you get to this process?
The idea of honoring our fallen warriors with their names engraved in stone came to me actually maybe 7 years ago, when I discovered that Santa Clarita Valley had lost 14 in the Vietnam War. I went to City Council and asked them to put up a granite pedestal with the names engraved in the same style that they're engraved at the Vietnam Memorial Wall. And they thought about it, and they said, well, they informed me that later that they would put bricks down for these 14, and that's what they did. The Veterans Historical Plaza had a certain design to it that they didn't want to deviate from. So, but then later, I was in conversation with some guys over at the Elks Lodge talking about our local fallen, and one of the guys says, "Geez, Bill, I wonder how many we lost in World War II." And I said, "Geez, I don't know where to begin to look for that." And somebody said, "Well, you could probably look in the Signal newspaper archives." And so I went over there, and they allowed me to go through those papers from World War II era, and then I went through the Korean War era.
Wow.
And I found 20 from World War II, and I found 5 from the Korean War. And with that information, along with knowing how many we lost in Vietnam and how many locals that we've lost in the recent wars, I went to City Council and I said, we should have a memorial here, a monument here to honor these guys. Well, initially, there was resistance to that because, like I said, they had design criteria that they felt they needed to adhere to. But while I was trying to get meetings with the City Hall folks, the Parks and Recs director, for example, I started going around all over town pitching the idea, not for money, but for moral support.
Local support from the community and everything.
And when we had public hearings and there was a planning commission hearing, I recruited people to come out and speak to it. I had people writing letters to the editor. People were speaking out big time in favor of it, and that's what won the day. And it actually was through the Councilman Bob Keller was with me from the start on this thing. Same with Tim Ben Boydston. And when Dante Acosta came on board, I knew it was a done deal at one of the public hearings. I needed 3, and those 3 guys were I call them the 3 amigos who made it happen. Because I'm telling you, I walked out of there on cloud 9.
Oh, I bet, yeah. And, that must have been amazing.
After working it for a long time. But they had 2 criteria. 3 criteria. 1, it has to be community funded. 2, all of the names have to be vetted by Congressman Steve Knight's office. And 3, to include World War I fallen. That Councilwoman Laureen West said that we had 16 or 17 or something fallen. It turns out that we didn't have any fallen from World War I. 1 man was wounded who lived in Newhall in World War I.
Wow.
Found that out. So so I went out of there on cloud nine, and I tell you, it took 71 days. I had $50,000. We ended up.
That is amazing.
And I'll tell you, I don't mind telling you that when it came down to seeking funding, I've never held a fundraiser before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was pretty nervous about it, but we used our 501c3 from the SCV Veterans Memorial Committee, and that's how we went about funding it. We ended up with about $57,000, and it was fully paid for. And by the way, I went back to City Council later because I recognized their concern about the design criteria established at the plaza. And while I was over there at the plaza, it dawned on me one day that if we were to extend the pergola out, put in two more fancy columns over there, and have lights up in, it's like a patio cover, over the top of this with lights, it would be fantastic. So I went back to City Council, and they approved it just like that. And I also asked them to take charge of the whole installation, and they funded it for $84,000.
Wow.
But through donations from Charlie Rasmussen Construction Company, a CB Vietnam veteran who provided all of the labor. Home Depot provided construction materials. The city's spent maybe $20,000 of that 84 because it was community funded. Everybody paid for the monument, and we had Jim Coffey from Core Electric did the lighting. We had a local welder.
Essentially you had the entire Santa Clarita Valley come in together as one big family to make this monument happen.
Yes.
That is awesome.
I tell you, yeah, the cities and their documents and certificates that I received, said that I spearheaded it, and I guess I did.
I think you did. It sounds like you did.
It was just
sure sounds like it.
Amazing thing to have happen. I was standing there the morning of October 12th when the installers were bringing the monument in to put it down. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, I was emotional. I mean, it was just such a special thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So while I'm standing there, my phone rang, and it was this fellow, Timothy Davis. Now, he had tipped me off a couple months earlier, or a month and a half earlier, that he had received a call from the White House advising him that President Trump, was going to be in Vietnam on Veterans Day. He didn't ask me if I wanted to go. He was just telling me. But that morning on October the 12th, while I'm just so stoked with this monument going down, I get this phone call from him, and he goes, "Hey, Bill," he says, "it's on." He says, I want you to go. I want Steve Hopper, one of my Charlie Company buddies out of Illinois. I want him to go. I want Hackett to go, a local Marine here. And I want this guy, Steve Bernston, another Marine who lives up in Washington. And then he says, I want you to get me 2 more guys who served not in your Mekong Delta area, but other areas of Vietnam. So I got a hold of a couple of guys, and they couldn't hardly believe their ears when I invited them to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's going to be a nice phone call.
That's huge. Huge.
And so, but I told Timothy, I can't fly on November the 8th, because he was saying fly out on November the 8th. I said, we have our unveiling ceremony scheduled that day.
Yeah.
And he says, "Don't worry about it, mate. He's an Aussie, okay?" And by the way, I'd
love to hear how that conversation went down.
Well, being my mother is Australian, so I'm an Aussie too, So that's one of the reasons why Timothy and I have clicked so well. But he said, "Don't worry, we'll fly out that evening." Well, it turns out that we couldn't fly out that evening, so I had to pass on the ceremony that I literally created.
Spent years.
The ceremony itinerary that I had put together, right? And Carrie Lujan at the city, basically asked me to give her input on how I'd like to see it go down. So I did. It was a wonderful, I've seen it on video.
Yeah.
It went beautifully. Bob Keller stood in for me.
And he's former Army, right?
Yeah, okay. Green Beret,
right.
And LAPD SWAT. He's a stud of a man, I tell you.
I wouldn't want to mess with Bob Keller.
No.
He's a great guy, wonderful human being. And so the city made some recommendations on how they thought the unveiling, the actual removal of the drape should go, the black drape. Mm-hmm. I said, no, we're going to have our Gold Star families do that.
Absolutely.
only fitting. And I don't know if you guys have had a chance to see the video of the ceremony. If you ever have some time,
I did. I saw it's beautiful ceremony.
Oh, I'm telling you. So I was, I was in Vietnam, and people are sending me photographs and video of how it went down, and I tell you, it just made me feel great.
Yeah.
Really wonderful thing.
I heard there was a slight controversy at the opening regarding political organization handing out donuts and coffee. Want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, that's been a real stickler for me here recently, or ever since the unveiling, actually. Right. One of the things that I wanted to hold the line to is that this was a monument that was to honor fallen soldiers and Marines, sailors, and Air Force guys. This was not to be a political ceremony. It wasn't to be political in any way. Starting going back to the to the securing of funds. I never went to somebody and said, "Hey, you're a good, strong Republican. You need to donate to this."
Yeah.
I went to our community, and people coughed up money. I mean, it was a sight to see in short order, and it was not to be a political installation or a political ceremony.
Right.
So, not too long before the ceremony, a local guy, a guy named Anthony Bresnikan, I think how you say it.
At Bresnikan, I think, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not an expert in how you pronounce names, but I'm
pretty sure that's how you say it.
I'm 99% positive on that.
Okay.
No disrespect was intended.
Well, right. Well, he and I had become friends on Facebook, and it's my nature to get to know people who maybe have a different political perspective than mine. I'm open-minded. To a certain degree, I guess. Yeah. I'll fess up. I'm a pretty strong conservative, right? So
I had no idea.
Shocked, just blown away,
mind blown.
Get out.
So he and I met for coffee, and there was no political conversation going on. It went well. It went very well. I took him as being a really decent, nice guy, honest, forthright, and so it wasn't too long after that we were text messaging, and actually we had text messaged to set up that coffee meeting, and it was me who had asked him to meet. So anyway, during these text messaging of this and that, he sent one and said, "Hey, Bill, I'd like to contribute to the monument." Well, by this time, it's way late in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was way late, and I told him that I can't accept any more funds for it. We need to spend all that we have.
Yeah.
And so then he came back and he said, "Well, I'd like to," he says, "Are you going to have refreshments of any sort?" I said, "Well, no. We will have a lunch at the American Legion Hall following the ceremony, but no, we weren't planning on it." He says, "I'd like to contribute donuts and coffee. Would that be okay?"
That's a pretty good idea. Stand up idea.
I went back to him. I said, "That's fantastic. You'll be a hit."
Yeah.
And I'll make sure that I get
I'm a big fan of donuts.
I'll make sure I get your name on the poster. The city was putting a poster out there with all of our contributors' names on there, and I did. I had his name listed, as a citizen of Santa Clarita, and so he was happy about that and was ready to ask me how many donuts he should bring, and I said, "Well, we'll probably have a couple hundred people." He said, "Well, I'll bring 250. You think that'll do it?" And I said, "It would." And so while I'm in Vietnam and my friends are sending me photographs and videos of the ceremony, I'm noticing on Facebook that Anthony posted up some photos along with a lot of other people, and darned if he didn't bring those donuts with his political organization's logo on it.
Wow.
25 Up logo.
That's pretty low.
Which is the 25 Up for Progress.
Yeah. It's a local liberal group.
Well, I didn't know anything about it, but when I saw that logo on there, it struck me as being off. He could have had Dunkin' Donuts on there,
right?
Or whatever.
Pretty sure 25 Up doesn't bake donuts anymore.
Yeah, and the weird thing is it's actually not an age restriction. Usually the age the average member is actually 25 below, but.
Oh, I thought it was the 25th congressional district.
Yeah, I was making a slight joke there.
Right over my head, brother.
Swing and a miss.
Okay, so he donated the donuts, which is a great idea, and then puts the 25 up logo on all of the boxes.
Yeah. So when I saw that on Facebook, I sent him a text and I go, "Hey, what gives? You said you were donating a personal contribution." And here I see that your organization, your left-wing organization, donated these.
Yeah.
And I says, and it was noticed by people, and I heard about it. I said, I'm not happy about that. Well, he tried to turn it around like he was the victim, that I stacked the ceremony with Republicans.
Oh, God.
And I mean, it was so.
That's a little immature, if you ask me.
It was so insane, and actually that debate is still going on to this day.
I bet it is. But we don't know about that because he refuses to talk to us and blocks people on Facebook.
Well, hopefully one day the debate won.
Soon.
If a left-leaning group bought donuts, were they all the exact same donut, or did you give half of a donut to somebody and then somebody else came?
Were they equally distributed? Yeah. If you got too much, did they take some away and give some to the other guy?
Yeah. I only saw the video of the ceremony and photographs on Facebook. I don't know how.
You know what? It was probably like, here, take a bite and then pass it to the next guy.
Yeah. Well, Bill, we really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, indeed.
And a big thank you for everything you've done for this city.
Yeah.
And especially in helping honor our fallen here.
The meeting with Trump was really amazing.
I'd like to say one thing that I know as a fellow veteran myself, that what you lacked when you came home from fighting the war. I just want to say welcome home. Oh. It's an honor to have you with us, and it's an honor to actually know you and have you as a friend. Well, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. We have to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be discussing the new mayor in Santa Clarita and also net neutrality.
Ooh, big one.
Drug and alcohol use can lead to troubles at school or work, relationship problems, financial or legal difficulties, medical and psychiatric issues. I'm Bob Sheritz, the host of the Way Out Recovery Hour, airing every Monday at noon. The Way Out Recovery Hour features prominent guests and organizations discussing the epidemic of drugs and alcohol in our valley. Don't miss the Way Out Recovery Hour every Monday at noon. Asking for help is the first step. There is the way out.
Men, are you feeling tired, stressed, or just don't have the energy you used to? Did you know this could be related to decreased testosterone levels? Luckily, there's a safe, effective solution. Weeder Prime helps support healthy testosterone levels with clinically tested key ingredients. Just 2 capsules of Weeder Prime each day can help change your mood, energy, focus, body fat, and lean muscle. Feel the way you felt 10, 20, even 30 years ago. Rediscover your Prime with Weeder Prime. To find a retailer near you, visit WeederPrime.com. That's WEIDER Prime.com.
Do you like to rock across Africa?
Then the wait is over.
Africa Rocks! Africa's Greatest Hits is now available at the San Diego Zoo! And who could forget 99 red baboons?
Or the African crested porcupine smash hit, I Got Quills to Pay the Bills! Hey, don't get too close!
And the hits keep on coming!
Africa Rocks has all your favorites from 6 different African habitats.
Hungry like a leopard.
Ibex is back.
Harder, better, fossa stronger.
And a new track from Kendrick Lamar.
Now, Larry.
Yes, Chuck?
A collection of this magnitude, I'd fly to Africa.
Well, don't pack your bags, friend. Africa Rocks is only available right here at the San Diego Zoo.
Wow, that really does rock.
No, it Africa Rocks.
Welcome to Africa Rocks. Experience 6 different African habitats, including our first ever aquatic enclosure with African penguins. Only at the San Diego Zoo.
Santa Clarita Philharmonic has begun its season of free concerts. The SCP is a non-profit community-based volunteer symphony orchestra comprised of local musicians from throughout the Santa Clarita Valley who are dedicated to providing quality classical music for the residents of the Santa Clarita Valley. Like the Santa Clarita Philharmonic on Facebook or visit santaclaritaphilharmonic.org for more information.
KHTS
rocking it with the music. I love it. Welcome back. This is what do you call this? The
second segment of the Christmas edition.
Yeah, there you go. Good save.
And by the way, in case anyone doesn't know or will soon find out, the only difference between the normal edition of Connecting Right and the Christmas edition is the bumper music.
I like the music.
And we're all currently wearing stockings. So.
My wife hates Christmas music.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. I make sure I blast it whenever I take a shower on the speaker to blast Christmas music. Yeah, doesn't please her.
Nice.
All right. Well, we have a new mayor here in Santa Clarita. It is Laureen West.
Laureen West.
Laureen West. I'm sorry. Yeah, Laureen West.
Who is I want to say her 5th time being mayor. Either 5th or 6th.
Yeah, yeah. And the mayor pro tem is Marsha McLean. McLean?
McLean.
Yeah, McLean. Got it.
McLean.
Well, we got a new dynamic.
It's Marsha McLean. You can't get it wrong if you cough during the middle.
McLean.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got a new dynamic duo running the show now. So I don't know what to expect. I'm kind of missing Mayor Smythe.
Yeah.
I like the guy.
He's just a great mayor. I think it's going to be fine. I mean, the whole role of mayor in Santa Clarita is kind of a figurehead. It's not...
Yeah. And I've always wondered about that. Like, I know the difference between, Santa Clarita City, has their city council and a ceremonial mayor versus, LA City, who has, mayor and power. And it's still kind of confusing to me in how that whole show goes,
It's just different. I mean, we don't elect the mayor.
Right.
They're selected, and again, it's almost they don't really have any power. They're not
it's more
hiring city workers.
Right.
That's really the city manager's job. So I think it'll be good.
Well, we'll see. Time will tell. I know they got a lot of projects going on in Newhall right now that they need to finish or start, I should say. A lot of business owners might be a little upset about financial changes to their program. Yeah. But, we'll see.
See what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Now, if you are currently live streaming this right now, you might notice that your feed is buffering since net neutrality was revealed. And
that was well played, by the way. Well played.
Thank you. I like that.
I like that.
I actually thought about it earlier.
Like, what are you doing? Oh, I got it. I got it.
This is what happens when they throttle the internet.
Yeah, the throttling.
Okay, so net neutrality was passed in 2015 by the FCC under the Obama administration.
Correct.
Which basically said that internet service providers could not change the speed, they couldn't charge more, they couldn't have these fast lane access highways.
Right.
Which is fine. The problem was it's not a law. It was the FCC trying to regulate the ISP like a utility company.
Right, which it's not.
And the ISPs, like Comcast has been the big one since 2015, has said, you know what, we're fine. Pass a law that says we won't do these things. We can't throttle the internet. We can't change your speed. Do that. We're fine with that. We'll keep that.
Yeah.
Just pass a law. Don't
do it by executive action per se.
Yeah, because what happens is exactly what happened in this case, where a new administration comes in and they reverse it.
Right.
Say,
and everybody loses their loving minds.
Yeah. So say when the Democrats finally win in 2032. That administration is going to come in, and most likely that FCC would then
reverse it. Yeah,
and the problem
it's tit for tat, and it's not a good way to govern.
Yeah, and the problem for the ISPs is that they're constantly having to fight these legal battles instead of saying, "Look, just make it a law. We'll uphold it. We'll deal with it. It's fine."
Yeah, everybody comes in. They're right. Whether you like it or not, it's make it a law and we'll abide by that law.
Yeah.
But don't just make these regulations that you can interpret a million different ways till Sunday. It's bad for business. It really is bad for business. And what I hate about, I'll be honest with you, I don't know that much about net neutrality and everything like that.
Yeah, honestly, nobody does.
Yeah, but so that's actually really entertaining watching everybody blow up. Like, oh my God, the world's gonna end.
Yes.
Like, oh geez, and then you got Zuckerberg on Facebook, like, internet companies shouldn't censor what they want and what they don't want on the internet. And it's like, well, the way you run your Facebook company, there, guy. It's like, you can post videos of people, beating each other half to death, but God forbid if you post a funny meme about Hillary Clinton. We're going to have to take that down.
Oh, that's a good example.
You know what? We're going to take it down and we're going to ban you for 30 days.
That's a perfect example. Facebook is a private company or publicly owned private company.
Yeah.
Was there
publicly traded private company.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is the board runs it. CEO runs it.
Yep.
It is not a utility like the ISPs were being regulated as.
Yeah, they were being regulated or considered to be public utilities, and my personal opinion, I kind of disagree with that whole argument that internet is a utilities. Utilities are water, power. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You don't need per se internet to live your life. You don't. You need power and you need water. But
I'm more on the fence with that. I mean, I can see that argument, but I'm a libertarian at heart. Regulation does not help.
No, it doesn't. No, you're right.
As much as everybody will complain about Facebook, obviously it's not to a point where people are leaving or nobody has stepped in and said,
Correct.
You know what, we're going to do this social media thing way better than Facebook.
Correct.
That's what our market is. That's what capitalism is.
It's what do they call it? Competition.
Yeah,
private sector competition. If you have something better, bring it out. Let's do it.
There are I don't know the exact number. I'd have to look it up, but there are a couple thousand internet service providers in this country.
Damn, it's a lot.
If the Comcast tomorrow says, you know what, we're going to, unless you're paying us this $100 extra a month,
right,
we're going to cut your internet speed in half. So then you have Comcast, which probably has millions of customers.
They do.
All these millions of customers go through Comcast to get access to sites like Amazon, Google, Facebook, YouTube. All of these companies that are making trillions of dollars simply because somebody has access to the internet to get to them.
Correct.
How do you think those companies are going to react to that decision? If Comcast says, you know what, we're just going to cut in half the speed that everyone can get to these companies.
I'd imagine they'd be slightly perturbed.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
No.
I mean, or say these companies say, you know what, fine, go ahead, Comcast. We're going to put all of our resources together to develop a workaround. We're going to develop an ISP on our own.
I think what the big issue is, or why it's such a big issue now, is because the internet is now the new home of TV or streaming services where cable services or satellite services offer you your television, HBO and everything like that, where people are actually pulling off. Now we got Netflix, you got Hulu, now soon to be a Disney streaming service because they just bought out Fox. So I think that's where the big issue is coming into play. But again, it's not diabolic.
Yeah,
as people are making it out to seem. Again, it may sound a little bit ignorant coming from a guy who just said, I don't know much about net neutrality, but, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, it boils down to, do you feel like regulation helps or hinders an industry?
I think it hinders.
Okay, do you feel like it helps or hinders a consumer?
I don't know.
You should have Cody should have jumped in with the Jeopardy music right there. I feel like.
Well, you should have told him prior.
Matt,
we didn't know this was a Jeopardy session.
Matt, do you feel
I'll take net neutrality for 100, Sean.
Do you feel that regulation helps or hinders the consumer?
That's oh my God! This is surprise,
right?
All right,
oh, it's close
way to
enough.
go.
It's close.
You know what? I think it. I'm going to go with help, Sean.
I don't
know. Please don't hurt me.
You got new tattoos, so I feel like I stand a chance right now. Look, regulation is good when the government steps in and says, you know what, maybe all these companies shouldn't be polluting the entire environment.
Good.
When they're spilling toxic waste everywhere.
That's bad.
When a industry is there and
Captain Planet will not be pleased.
Yes, powers combined. When an industry has a product,
yeah,
but unfortunately there's an ill-intended side effect of that product of creating these disastrous effects for everyone else. That's when regulation has a merit.
I will say that regulation has its place, but I'm a firm believer too much regulation actually hinders everything.
100%.
Everything.
Yeah.
You can say I look at regulation more as setting guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. You can set guidelines. That's fine. I'm totally okay with that. And then you set some minor regulations like, hey, you can't do this or else. But too much regulation just kills everything.
Yeah.
It's the same principle as big government.
Yeah.
The less that government has its hands on things, the better it is for the people.
Let the market decide. Let the market and the consumer dictate how an industry goes.
Yeah. No, it's totally up to the consumer. If they don't want it, they don't want it.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay that much money for their streaming services. They're not going to pay it, and that's their right. You shouldn't force that. Just like take Obamacare. With the mandate. Like that's a whole other Oprah right there.
Yeah, I mean, if SpaceX is in the process of launching all of the Iridium, or there's a company that is launching a global satellite array that will stream internet access. And SpaceX is currently in the process of launching this fleet of satellites out there.
And that's good. It's the same thing.
There are options.
Right. You can take that same argument, and this is the argument that I love. California's, semi-fast bullet train. It used to be the high-speed rail. Now it's like the semi-fast bullet train. Whatever. Good one, Cody. But so
it's a musket ball. At this point, right?
It's
the musket train.
If that, it's so bad. It's so bad. They've wasted billions and billions of dollars, or millions and millions of dollars. They haven't gotten anything. You got Tesla over on the side saying, Elon Musk, like, hey, I can do this under budget, under time, and better than what you have planned. And everyone's like, yeah, right. Goes out and does it, builds a concept model. Like, that's private sector right there. That's competition. That's what actually gets you going.
Well, look what happened. For years, Prius was the main electric car in this country. I think it probably still is. Look at Tesla now. Tesla steps in and says, you know what? We see a need in this industry for these certain things that a consumer wants.
Right.
We're going to develop the technology to make this product.
Yeah. I mean, you can say what you want about Tesla and their, how their company is being managed right now, and, whether they're on shaky ground, but the fact is that Tesla has innovated so much and set standards for so much, all on private money. The public didn't have to pay for any of that. I mean, yes, they do receive government subsidies. I will stipulate that. But at the same time, it's a private company doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
And look what, we're reaping the benefits. And then California decides, oh, you know what, we're not getting enough money, so let's raise your taxes and everything so we can, because Tesla's ruining the, they don't buy any gas, so we got to rape them somehow.
Yeah. All right, I think we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to kind of
we're going to grill Matt on his political views.
Yeah, I'm going to grill you on your political views, Matt. So
I look forward to the burn marks on my face.
Excellent.
Yeah, fry me up, Scotty.
Stay tuned.
Alrighty.
There's only one Santa Clarita plastic surgeon who is Yale trained and board certified, Dr. Justin Heller.
To be a board certified plastic surgeon like myself, what that truly entails is about 5 to 7 years of honed surgical training in reconstructive, all areas, as well as aesthetics, which means your facelifts, your breast augmentations, your body contouring, true training, and board certification. In fact, that's the only board certified area that can be achieved in this realm.
Dr. Justin Heller, warm, understanding, always available for guidance because he's local. HellerPlasticSurgery.com.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
We all know someone impacted by the Las Vegas tragedy. It's touched our valley and thousands of households. Many of us were actually there. In Santa Clarita, we had 1 fatality and 14 injured by bullets. Many more were injured trying to escape. Others are still traumatized by their ordeal, finding challenges returning to normal lives. The law firm of Owen Patterson Owen is helping many Las Vegas victims get financial assistance for their ordeal. If you know someone impacted by the shooting, visit opolaw.com.
The magic of the Christmas season comes to life on stage with Santa Clarita Ballet's production of The Nutcracker. This captivating and thoroughly entertaining holiday classic performed by Santa Clarita Ballet features characters that delight audiences. Travel with Mary and her Nutcracker to the land of sweets, where she meets the Sugar Plum Fairy. Performances run Saturday, December 16th through Sunday, December 17th at Santa Clarita Performing Arts Center at COC. Call 251-0366 or visit santaclaritaballet.net.
Life's not meant to feel complacent. It's meant to make you feel alive. The youth ministry at the Church on the Way Santa Clarita believes that students can belong to the group, where they will help them believe they have a purpose in Christ and become all that He has created them to be. They want you to see God's power come alive in our generation. They love meeting new people, so go hang out with them. Doors open at 6 p.m. and service starts at 7 p.m. every Wednesday night. For more information about the Church on the Way Santa Clarita and what's happening through the end of the year, visit tcotwsc.org.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart...
Oh, man. I love you, Cody. That's great.
I know, that was beautiful.
That was pleasing. Yeah. This pleases me. All right, folks. Welcome back to our third and final segment where Sean is going to grill yours truly.
Yeah. Well, you know, as we discussed last week, I'm moving on.
You are.
We discussed it for hours and hours of last week's hour show.
Yeah.
And this has been a great and wonderful experience. You know, I was thinking on the way here, it is a little odd that Dave kind of let us just run the show. This is my last show. Yeah, that is
really weird. And I feel there should be strings from the Puppet Master.
Yeah, I feel like, don't you think he... I mean, isn't he afraid I'm going to steal some office supplies here?
Is he monitoring this show right now and saying, like, what are they doing? They better be, ooh.
He did text me, and he said, how's it going? But he texted me at 7:03.
Oh, yeah. How's it? We haven't started yet, dude. Come on, get it right.
And
Jeez,
Matt
Dave.
punched Bill.
Knocked him out. I told him to leave.
Okay, since you will be taking over for me, starting next...
June 7th. January 7th.
January 7th.
January 7th, yeah.
I want people to kind of get a feel on your viewpoints, because a lot of times in politics, everyone kind of tries to divide everyone into a group. Oh, you're conservative,
Correct.
you must think these views, or you're liberal, you must think these views, which we know is not the case, and everything is not black and white.
It is not.
So let's kind of jump into some important topics, some topics of the moment, I guess, or however you want to say the topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
Yeah.
We can do that. There'll be like a
TOTW?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start off. What are
Hit
your
me.
views on legalization of gay marriage?
Legalization of gay marriage. And this is where my libertarian viewpoints come into play. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. Here's my problem with gay marriage. I don't believe the government should be involved in marriage. Period. The core argument to gay marriage from the left was like, oh, it's a civil right, it's a constitutional right. No, it's not. No, it's not. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say anything about marriage. Nowhere in the Bill of Rights does it say anything about marriage. Gay, straight, black, white, doesn't matter, right? The only reason why government got involved in marriage is because the Democrats didn't want white people marrying black people. That's why there's government in marriage. I think government should be completely taken out of marriage. That being said, they're involved in marriage now.
Yeah.
I don't care. You can marry whoever you want. Love is love. I really don't care. There really isn't anything else to say. I don't hate gay people. I don't dislike them. It's not for me. But hey, it's me. It's not affecting me.
Yeah.
The minute that you try to push your agenda on me, that's where I have a problem.
Okay.
But yeah, you do you, man.
Literally.
Literally.
All right, the next topic here is, and we discussed with former Mayor Cameron Smythe this issue and how it affects Santa Clarita. But what are your thoughts on the legalization of marijuana?
I think legalization of marijuana is a bad thing. And I think it's a bad thing.
We disagree on this, by the way.
Well, let me explain. The reason why I think it's a bad thing is because I think because it's still illegal on the federal level. I don't believe, again, there's constitutionality here. A state cannot trump federal law. It just it can't. It's illegal. I'm all for reevaluating marijuana. Okay, right now, as a former peace officer, marijuana is what we call a Schedule I narcotic. Means it has no medical value whatsoever. Now, you can argue that there's been studies that show that there's medical value to it. I've seen them. I agree with them. I totally totally understand that. But until that step is made to reduce it from a Schedule 1 narcotic to, say, maybe a Schedule 3 or Schedule 4, it's still illegal on the federal level. The massive problem that California is going to see, and like what Mayor Smythe said, is that... Correct. Yeah, sorry.
Just dig that
needle into you. Sorry. I'm trying to look out for you, Mr. Smythe, but, whatever. The problem that, and he touched on this, the problem is that because it's still legal on the federal level, it's a cash-only business. You can't finance, there's no bank accounts do it, and everything like that. And that's not something that is good for business. That being said, you want to smoke it, I don't care. Me personally, not for me, but, Do
you feel... Okay, so do you feel that should the federal government legalize marijuana?
I don't know about legalize, but I would say reduce it. I'm not a doctor, but I have seen plenty of studies that shows it has medical value. I am all for reducing its schedule classification to having medical value and having use in medicine and everything like that. But I don't know. I don't know about legalization. I honestly don't know. I think it's way worse than alcohol, in the fact that it doesn't affect everybody the same way. Whereas alcohol, generally speaking, it does. But God, in California, what a lot of people don't know is that if you smoke marijuana, you can't buy a gun. You can't own a gun because it's federally regulated. When you fill out the 4473, there's a little question: do you smoke marijuana, or do you whatever? If you check yes on that box, boom, you just lost your gun rights. So,
which is a little silly to me that somebody can legally drink and own a firearm, but not legally smoke and own a firearm. I have an issue with that, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one.
Go for it.
Healthcare.
I don't believe healthcare is a right. I believe that everybody's entitled to get emergency medical care when they need it, and I think it should be affordable for that person. But I don't believe healthcare is a right. I also believe that the healthcare industry, generally speaking, needs extreme overhauling. I think the pharmaceutical companies have a stranglehold on our healthcare system. But again, I don't think healthcare is a right. Nowhere, again, I reference the Constitution and Bill of Rights. It's not in there. Not in there at all. So,
let's go on to abortion.
Oh.
I snuck that one in. We had another one, and I was like, what,
totally did. I thought you were meaning like read that. I'm like, I can't read your writing.
You can't read my handwriting.
Stay it for me, please. I'm pro-life. Okay. I'm pro-life up until the point of incest, rape, or health of the mother.
Okay.
As far as I'm not a religious person. I was baptized Catholic. I was raised Catholic, but I'm more agnostic now. But I agree with the sentiment that life has started at inception. I know that the baby, the fetus in the womb can feel pain at extremely early time frames, and I'm not about inflicting pain on a defenseless human being. People disagree with me on that. I think my brother disagrees with me on that one too. But I'm pro-life. I would rather see the adoption laws changed or regulations reduced so people can actually adopt the kids. We have safe surrender laws and everything like that. I don't believe in abortion as a birth control. It's like, whoops, I want a dog instead. It's like, I don't really go with that.
Okay. Second to last question here.
Go for it.
What direction do you want the show to move in now that you are going to be a co-host of it?
I don't want the direction to change at all. I think it's fine just the way it is.
Okay, that's still a direction.
It's continue. Well, I said direction change. Oh, okay. I don't think the direction should change.
Touche.
Yeah. Boom. Gotcha. Yeah. I think I have some insight to offer the show, but as far as I'm concerned, I like the way the show's been running. I've been a huge fan of your and Dave's work for a while, and I don't think I should change that. That being said, if something comes up down the road that I want to offer, I'm open to change, but I don't think the show needs fixing.
Okay. I am waiting for the day, and I'm going to sit there and just white knuckle watching for the moment that you and Dave just get to the point where it's going to be fisticuffs, and I'm going to be like, this is going to be a glorious fight. I don't know who to take bets on.
I don't see that.
I know I don't.
Really
but,
don't.
You know,
I mean, I know he's a 3%er, and they're evil people, but I mean,
wait, you forgot to do the bunny quotes on that.
Bunny quotes, yeah, evil people.
All right, last two. I know I said one, but we're going with two more.
Hit me.
Yes or no? Did we land on the moon?
Yes.
Okay. Yes or no? Is the Earth flat?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I'm going to go with saying, yeah,
it's not even close to a good question.
It's round.
Kind of the opposite.
Yeah, it's round.
Okay. I mean, I don't think it's. I think
it's not flat.
Bulges a little. Okay.
Yeah, it's not flat. There you go.
That's the key. It's not.
Corey's like, I want to say something so bad.
Cody's Earth flat?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It totally is. Well, let me know when you walk to the end of the block and fall off.
Well, thank you, Matt. I'm very excited. It's bittersweet.
It is bittersweet.
I've loved every moment of this. I'm excited to be moving on to what I'm moving on. I'm excited for you to be stepping in and moving on here.
I agree. It's sad to see you go. You're a good friend, and
hate to see me leave, but love to watch me walk away.
You got a fine tushy, man. Gotta tell you.
Well, I'm excited to see if the views for your first show are higher or lower than mine, and I'm going to rub it in one way or another.
I'm gonna go ahead and say they're going to be lower because nobody can top you and Dave.
Well, thank you. Well, why don't you take us out?
Oh, this is exciting. Well,
you got to do that part up there too.
The KHTS app. Be sure to download the free KHTS app on your iPhones and Android devices. Now you can listen to KHTS wherever you are. You can also access KHTS news, social media, and more. The easiest way to get to the app is by going to your Google Play or App Store and search KHTS.
Make sure to tune in on January 7th.
7th.
For
January 7th.
The first all-new edition of Connecting Right with Dave and Matt.
And have a happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas.
And thank you to everyone who's tuned in throughout the many, many months.
Thank you. Thank you all.